Today we're looking at how we can make a little sectional box like this, um, or think of it like a makeup case if you're into your makeup stuff. Um, and notice those boxes can be different. Each little section can be different sizes, and this is really up to you on some of the design aspects here, but I'm going to show you the basics. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to need to think of is if you want it higher in the back, you want the maximum height, the total width, left to right, and the length here, and also the thickness. So we're going to create some variables using that tool. I already have them created here. Go ahead and click those and make your variables. And then we're going to start a new sketch on that top surface. We're going to start by making the bottom piece that goes across the whole bottom there that you see there. So let's jump right in. We're starting our sketch on the bottom, hiding the stuff I don't want to look at right now. And we're starting with a rectangle. This rectangle should be the length that we want, the total length. Ooh. And we also want the width. All right. Now we want to start, just like when we were doing a maker case like this, we want to start putting these little tabs in there so that they can interlock. So when we're designing this, we want to start drawing these, but I don't want to draw them all. I'm going to make some lines here so that once I draw half of them, I can start reflecting them here. So draw some lines like this right on that midpoint there. Notice it's highlighting to make a little square there in the center. And both these lines, I want them to be construction lines. They're dashed like that. And then we're going to rough draw our little tabs here. They can be kind of anything you want, make them look good. If you want to make them all the same width and stuff, you can do that. If you don't really care, that's also up to you. This one, I want to have a center tab here, so that one's going to the line. Now I'm going to dimension this to be my thickness that we already have as a variable as well. And that just dimensioned one, but I want to do all those. So I'm going to use this equal button, and to keep it kind of clean looking, I'm just going to say those should be equal, and those should be equal, and look at that, it forced them all to be equal. All right, and now I don't want to draw all the other ones, so I'm going to reflect those over this line. And now I'm going to select these pieces I want to get reflected. And there we go, we're moving here now, right? And I want to do that again so that I get them on the other side there. And I'm reflecting these pieces. And bingo, I'm cruising here, right? We're getting some nice pieces there. All right, and oop, I didn't want to be done with that yet. I want to do the same thing across the top edge, right? So I'm starting off by just putting some boxes I like. Don't worry about the constraint or the size yet. And this one I want like this. Maybe on the front edge though, and this back edge that I'm working on, maybe I want them to all be the same this time. So maybe I want to dimension this first one, and I want that one to be 3/4 of an inch, right? Now when I go push equal on all these, it's going to force them all to be the same size. So now they're all the same size. And let's also force the thicknesses to be the same. So these tabs are the right size. And it should be the same as the first ones I did there. So there we go. Those are all equal. All right, but I don't like how the spacing, so maybe I want to play with this too. You can go to town on this, do all you want, and fix these up how you like. There is a quicker way of doing a linear pattern, but I just wanted to show you that you can play with this. Maybe I want this one to actually be only 1 inch apart, so it looks a little different. I don't know, it's up to you. Play with those a little bit. And then just as before, we want to reflect things. So I want those to be the same. This is my mirror line. I know I'm moving fast, but this video is going to be pretty long, so I didn't want to drag it on forever. So feel free to pause this video, do what I'm doing, and come back to it. Notice I'm reflecting, I'm mirroring those. All right, now we're looking pretty good. For now, I'm done with this part. I'm only worried about the outside edge right now. I'm going to extrude this, and I'm going to extrude that surface. That's looking pretty good. Giving it the correct thickness. We've done this a few times before, so I'm moving kind of fast here also. All right, that's the base piece to start with, right? So you'll notice the base has a couple other holes in it, and there's a lot of holes in other places here as we go. We'll get those, and those will be added later. But for now, that's a good start. So let's do the back first. If you want yours to be taller in the back, it's a good place to start. And we're going to say, I want a sketch on this back surface right there. And let's look at that. All right. And now I want to use that. I want that point right there. So we're going to say, use bottom corner point and that other bottom corner point. Now I want to make a rectangle that uses that point and lines up there, making sure it lines up on that edge there. And I want to dimension this to be the max height. All right, there's my max height. That's looking pretty good. All right, and now I also want to start putting these little notches. Let's look at the back there. On this edge right here. Don't worry about those ones yet. So we're jumping back over here. Kind of seen this a few times before. So I want to make my little tabs here. Ooh, that one looks a little off, doesn't it? Oh, no, that's all right. Make sure that these are perfectly vertical when you're drawing these. And, you know, I want to dimension this one. I'm going to show you that linear pattern right now. But first, I want to make this a size I like. Maybe I want this to be, I want that to be exactly 0.5. All right. And the cool thing about linear pattern is if we drop up here, linear pattern right there. So now I'm going to select the pieces that I want to be patterned. And it starts off by trying to pattern it this way, to the right. I don't want that. I only want to put one there because I want to keep my original one. But I want it to go downwards here. And I want to make 3 of those. You can play with where you want them to be, right? You can space those out if you like. Notice that it gives me a number right here, so I can actually play with that number and make it the perfect number if you want. I'm doing this fast, so that looks good enough to me. It's getting a little messy in there. So all these are 0.9 apart. If you want to play with that number, like you want to maybe 0.75, right? Or it's going to change those. 0.9 look good to me though. Anyway, so again, that's looking good. I like this side now. Let's get that out of there too. It's getting messy, messy, messy. But now I want to reflect that to the other side again. So I need a mirror line going down the center. So I click line, oh, and there's my center point. And all right. I don't want that to be a real line. I want it to be a construction line. Now I'm going to reflect. This is my mirror. And now I'm going to reflect these pieces. Bingo, I'm in business. We're starting to get somewhere. All right. So I'm finishing that sketch for now. And look at that. We got something going here. So let's extrude this. And I want to extrude this surface. Oop, that's going the wrong way. And it's going to be the thickness. And in the other direction. All right, that's looking pretty good. Right. All right. And we don't want to say add, we want to say new. It's a new piece. We don't want it to connect to the other piece that's already there. And there we are. But as we've seen in the past, we have pieces that are overlapping here, which you can see is this kind of weird shimmering thing going on here. So we want to use that Boolean right here that we've done in the past. And we're going to say subtract. The tool is the piece that's doing the cutting. The target is what we want to remove stuff from, which is this piece. And we want to keep our tools. We don't want to lose that bottom piece. Look at that, that's looking pretty good now. All right, so I'm going to end the video for now, and we will